the cytoplasmic content of a cell contains different types of biomolecules. In that, some of them are the one which are dispersed in the water or the liquid content or in the solution, but some of them are the part of the structural part of a cell. Structural part means they are the part of cell wall and the cell membrane. So let us take the example of lipids here. As we know that the cell membrane, if we take the example of cell membrane is a one which is made up of lipoproteins, that is lipids and proteins are present. So when we destruct the cell membrane, it is converted into small fragments, and these fragments are in the form of vesicles. These vesicles which are having the lipids are separated not as individual structures, but it is in the combination with some others, so it will be separated as fragments called as vesicles, and these vesicles are separated along with the acid insoluble fraction. So as we said that acid insoluble is the one which contains the biomolecules which are having the molecular weight more than 1000 daltons. So likewise, because of this nature, the lipids, despite of having molecular weight less than 1000 daltons, then also they are the part of acid insoluble fraction, and they are considered to be the biomacromolecules. And in the same way, the cytoplasmic composition. In the cytoplasmic composition, majority of the cytoplasmic composition is the part of simple biomolecules, whereas the macromolecules and the cell wall constituent part will be the part of the biomacromolecules. Likewise, the deviation can be seen between the simple and the macro biomolecules. Acid soluble fraction contains the cellular composition, while the acid insoluble fraction, which contains the macromolecules of the cell along with the cell organelles. So likewise, whatever the components of the cell can be differentiated into acid soluble and acid insoluble fractions. And if we take the average composition of a cell, average composition of a cell. So first here the compounds, water, the percentage of the water will be 70 to 90% out of the total 100% of the cell. Then proteins, which account for 10 to 15% of the total composition of the cell. Carbohydrates, which account for about 3% of the total composition of the cell. Lipids, which account for 2% of the total composition of the cell. Nucleic acids, they account for about 5 to 7% of the total composition, and the inorganic compounds which are present in the cell. So these inorganic compounds account for about 1% of the total composition of the cell. Likewise, this is the average composition of a cell in a living condition.